Your life can transform in an instant. Right now, in this very moment, you're about to learn something so powerful, so transformative, that it will literally rewire the circuits in your brain. I've spent years studying neuroscience, quantum physics, and the power of consciousness. And I can tell you with absolute certainty that there are 4 simple statements, 4 lines that when fully understood and embodied will attract everything you've been waiting for. You are here for a reason. You didn't just stumble upon this video by accident. Something deep within you led you here. Maybe it was curiosity, maybe it was a feeling that there's something more, or maybe you've been searching for answers, for a shift, for a sign that your life is about to change. Most people live their entire lives waiting for love, waiting for success, waiting for their financial breakthrough. They believe that something outside of them needs to change before they can feel fulfilled. But here's the problem. They're stuck in an outdated model of reality, one rooted in Newtonian physics, where life is linear, where cause and effect dictate their experiences. They've been conditioned to think they are separate from their desires, separate from their future, separate from the potential that already exists within them. But what if I told you that's not how reality actually works? The latest research in quantum physics proves that your thoughts and words aren't just abstract concepts floating in your mind. They are real, measurable energy, sending out signals into the quantum field. When you speak certain words with clear intention and deep feeling, you are broadcasting a powerful frequency, one that the universe mirrors back to you. And the field, it's responding right now, in every moment. Let me share something extraordinary with you. In the advanced workshops that I attended, they measured people's brainwave activity in real time. And here's what we discovered. The moment they shift their words and thoughts, their brain waves change instantly. We've seen people completely restructure their neural patterns in minutes, simply by changing the way they speak to themselves. This isn't a theory. This is science. Every morning when you wake up, your brain follows the same chemical patterns, producing the same emotions, the same thoughts, the same reactions as the day before. It's like your brain has a chemical recipe for your identity, one that's been reinforced over years, maybe even decades. But here's the truth. That recipe, it's not set in stone. It's not your fate. It's just a pattern, and patterns can be changed. Dr. Joe Dispenza, a leading expert in neuroscience and human transformation, explains this beautifully. Your thoughts are electrical, your feelings are magnetic, and together they create the electromagnetic signature that determines the experiences you attract. This means that the moment you shift your thoughts and emotions, you're literally rewiring your brain and altering the energy you send out into the universe. Now, let's talk about why words are so powerful. We've discovered that words carry energy. They are not just sounds, but frequencies that interact with the quantum field of infinite possibilities. When you truly understand this, not just intellectually, but at a deep cellular level, you begin to see why these 4 statements are so incredibly powerful. I've witnessed people who lived with chronic pain for decades completely heal their bodies. I've seen individuals trapped in financial struggle break free and shift their wealth reality in ways that defy logic. I've documented cases where people reversed conditions their doctors said were permanent and impossible to heal. And every single one of these transformations started with one thing: a shift in their internal dialogue. Now, take a moment, pause, breathe, and repeat this out loud. I am ready to receive the life I was meant for. Say it again. Say it with certainty. Feel it. Now, take it a step further. Write it in the comments below. Because when you declare something, when you not only say it, but put it into writing, you are reinforcing it, locking it into your subconscious mind and sending out a stronger signal into the quantum field. The latest research in epigenetics reveals something that has stunned scientists. Your genes do not determine your future, your environment does. But here's where it gets even more fascinating. Your thoughts and words create an internal environment just as real, just as powerful as the external one. Which means when you change the way you speak, you literally change the chemistry of your body, the firing of your neurons, and the expression of your genes. This isn't about wishful thinking. This is about understanding how consciousness interacts with energy and using specific statements that align with the way reality is structured at the quantum level. Your brain is designed to follow patterns, to seek out and reinforce familiar thought loops. And every time you repeat an old belief, an old fear, an old limitation, you're deepening those neural pathways. It's like walking the same path through a field of grass every single day. Eventually, that path becomes so well worn that it feels like the only way forward. but that's just an illusion. Quantum physics reveals something entirely different. Your brain is processing 400 billion bits of information every second, and yet you're only aware of about 2,000 of those bits. That means most of your reality is running on autopilot. Your subconscious programming, formed by past experiences, emotions, and most importantly, the words you repeat to yourself every day, dictates the lens through which you see the world. Neville Goddard, one of the greatest teachers of the mind's creative power, said, "Assumption hardens into fact." When you repeat words with belief and feeling, you're not just reinforcing an idea, you're instructing reality to mirror that belief back to you. If this is resonating with you, don't just listen, take action. Subscribing isn't just a click, it's a declaration that you're ready to shift, to step into your power, to create the reality you deserve. Hit subscribe and let this be the first action you take toward your transformation. Let's start with the first power statement, I am enough. These 3 words might seem simple, but they create a quantum leap in your brain's chemistry. When you say, I am enough, you're not just making a statement. You are activating specific neural networks that begin to reorganize your entire biology. Most people walk through life carrying an unconscious program that whispers, you're not enough, not smart enough, not wealthy enough, not attractive enough, not worthy enough. And this deeply ingrained belief creates a specific chemical reaction in the brain, releasing stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. These chemicals keep you stuck in survival mode, shrinking the frontal lobe of your brain, the very part responsible for creating your future. But something incredible happens when you speak these words with absolute conviction. I am enough. Your brain shifts. It begins to release a different set of chemicals: dopamine, serotonin, and oxytocin. These aren't just feel-good chemicals. They are signals that instruct your genes to create new proteins, repair your body, and build new neural connections. We've seen this transformation in real time. In our research, we've hooked people up to brain scanning equipment and watched what happens when they shift from I'm not enough to I am enough. The change is remarkable. Their brain waves move from high beta stress waves into alpha and theta waves, states associated with creativity, healing, and higher consciousness. Here's what most people don't understand about this statement. When you say, I am enough, you're not trying to convince yourself of something. You're declaring a truth that already exists in the quantum field. You're tuning into a frequency that has always been there, waiting for you to access it. Think about water for a moment. Water can exist as ice, liquid, or steam. Same substance, different state. Your consciousness works the same way. When you say, I am enough, you shift your consciousness from a contracted state of lack to an expanded state of wholeness. I once worked with a businessman who had built a highly successful company but never felt satisfied. No matter how much success he achieved, he kept pushing himself harder, believing it was never enough. His body started breaking down from stress, his sleep deteriorated, and his relationships suffered. But when he started practicing I am enough, something shifted, not just in his mind, but in his entire physiology. His blood pressure normalized, his sleep improved, and surprisingly, his business grew even more. But this time, not from a place of desperation, but from a place of wholeness. This statement works because it aligns with a fundamental truth of quantum physics. Everything is already connected in the field of infinite possibilities. When you say, I am enough, you're not creating something new. You're tuning into what already exists. You are shifting from a particle state of separation to a wave state of connection. The key is to say these words not just with your voice, but with your entire being. Feel the truth of them in every cell of your body. When you do this, you create what we call coherence, a state where your thoughts, emotions, and biology are all in alignment. And when your body and mind are in coherence, something incredible happens. Your electromagnetic field expands, and you begin attracting experiences that match this new frequency. Your brain is literally rewiring itself every time you think a thought or speak a word. When you consistently declare, I am enough, you are building neural pathways that support this reality. You are changing your brain's default setting from scarcity to abundance, from separation to connection. Most people wake up every morning, look at their bank account, and feel poor. They look in the mirror and feel old. They check their messages and feel lonely. They allow their external world to dictate how they feel internally, but they've got it backwards. Neville Goddard once said, change your conception of yourself, and you will automatically change the world in which you live. Reality isn't something you wait for. It's something you generate from within. The moment you assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, your reality begins shifting to reflect it. This brings us to the second powerful statement, I create my reality. When you truly understand the magnitude of these 4 words, everything changes. This isn't just a metaphysical concept, it's supported by the latest findings in quantum physics and neuroplasticity. Every time you have a thought, every time you speak a word, you are literally shaping reality at a subatomic level. Scientists have proven that electrons behave differently when they are being observed. Think about that for a moment. Your consciousness actually affects the behavior of matter. If everything in your world is simply responding to your thoughts, your beliefs, and your words, then what happens when you start speaking from the version of you that already has what you desire? Most people don't do this. They continue to reinforce their past. They wake up, see their current reality, and allow it to dictate their emotions. They react instead of create. But here's what the most successful people who manifest the impossible, understand. Reality isn't something you react to, it's something you create. The moment you say, "I create my reality," you take your power back. Instead of being at the effect of your environment, you become the cause. Your words become instructions that tell the quantum field how to organize itself. This isn't wishful thinking, it's quantum mechanics. Dr. Joe Dispenza explains it this way: your thoughts send the signal out, and your emotions draw the event back to you. Every word you say, every thought you think is sending out an electromagnetic broadcast into the quantum field. When you say, "I create my reality," and actually mean it, you are rewiring your brain to expect and recognize opportunities that match this new frequency. I remember working with a teacher who had been struggling with chronic health issues for years. Every morning, she would wake up and check her body for symptoms, reinforcing her identity as a sick person. She didn't realize that every time she did this, she was strengthening the neural networks of illness in her brain. But when she began declaring, "I create my reality," something profound happened. Instead of checking for what was wrong, she started her day by feeling the health and vitality she wanted. Before there was any physical proof, she trained her brain to expect healing, and within months, her symptoms began to disappear. Her medical tests showed measurable improvements. She wasn't just thinking differently. She was creating a new biological reality. Here's what makes this statement so powerful. When you say, "I create my reality," you are taking full responsibility for your life, not from a place of blame, but from a place of power. You're acknowledging that your thoughts, your words, and your emotions are not just reacting to reality, they are shaping it. The quantum field doesn't distinguish between what's happening now and what you are imagining in your mind. When you declare, "I create my reality," and then proceed to think, speak, and feel from the future you want, your brain begins to upregulate genes that support this new reality. You're not just changing your mind, you're changing your biology. This is why people in our workshops often experience spontaneous healings, unexpected financial breakthroughs, and synchronicities that seem miraculous. They're not just repeating words, they are creating coherent signals that actively shift their energy field. They are becoming conscious creators rather than unconscious victims. Think about this. Every great invention, every masterpiece, every breakthrough in human history started as a thought in someone's mind. They had to believe, "I create my reality," before there was any proof. They had to hold that frequency, even when their external world told them otherwise. The key is consistency. You can't say, "I create my reality," and then spend the rest of the day complaining about what is. That's like trying to drive with one foot on the gas and one on the brake. You have to align your thoughts, words, and feelings with this truth until it becomes your new normal. Now, let's move to the third statement. Everything is perfect now. At first, this statement might feel counterintuitive, especially when your circumstances seem far from perfect. But this statement holds immense power because it shifts your energy from resistance to acceptance, from stress to coherence. Let me explain the science behind this. When you resist your current reality, your body produces stress chemicals that put you in survival mode. Your brain shifts from creative thinking to reactive thinking. You literally lose access to the part of your brain that can envision and create a new future. But when you say, "Everything is perfect now," you move from beta brainwaves, stress mode, to alpha brainwaves, creation mode. In the research labs, scientists measured what happens when people make this shift. Their heart rate variability improves, their immune system strengthens, their brain enters a state of heightened creativity and possibility. This isn't about denying reality, it's about understanding that every moment, no matter how challenging, is an opportunity for evolution. I attended a workshop with a business owner who came to the workshop on the verge of bankruptcy. His initial reaction was resistance, frustration, fear. But when he started practicing "everything is perfect now," something remarkable happened. Instead of being stuck in survival mode, his brain shifted from stress thinking to solution thinking. Within months, he restructured his business in ways he never would have conceived while in a state of fear. This statement works because it aligns you with the present moment, the only place where true power exists. When you say, everything is perfect now, you're not saying you can't create change. You're saying, I accept this moment as the perfect starting point for creation. This subtle shift makes all the difference. The quantum field exists as pure potential in the present moment. When you resist what is, you create interference patterns in the field. But when you accept the present moment as perfect, you create coherence. And that coherence allows you to access possibilities that were always there, but hidden by your resistance. Most people live in a state of constant stress, always fighting what is, and always comparing their reality to their expectations. And that creates a gap that generates anxiety and dissatisfaction. But when you declare, everything is perfect now, you close this gap. You move from a state of stress to a state of grace. And from this place, you can create miracles. Now, let's move on to the fourth and final power statement. I am infinite potential. This statement is perhaps the most powerful of all. It aligns perfectly with what quantum physics tells us about the nature of reality. Science has proven that what we call matter, including your body, your circumstances, everything around you, is 99.999% empty space. Even the atoms that make up your body are mostly space, pure potential, waiting to be expressed. So when you declare, I am infinite potential, you are tuning into a fundamental truth about who you really are. I've worked with thousands of people who thought they were stuck, people who believed their situations were impossible to change. But when they began living from the truth of I am infinite potential, something incredible happened. They stopped seeing themselves as limited beings trapped by their past, and they started acting as creators of their future. This shift is what makes the difference between those who achieve extraordinary success and those who remain stuck in cycles of struggle. Most people are living from memory rather than from imagination. They allow their past experiences to dictate their future possibilities. But when you fully embody I am infinite potential, you break free from the patterns of the past. You begin living from what's possible rather than from what's familiar. The key is feeling the truth of these words in every cell of your body. When you say, I am infinite potential, don't just say it, experience it. Feel the vastness of space within your atoms. Feel the unlimited nature of your consciousness. Feel the infinite possibilities that exist in this moment. I once worked with a woman who had been diagnosed with a severe autoimmune condition. Her doctors told her that her condition was incurable. The prognosis was grim, but something remarkable happened. She began practicing these 4 statements daily, especially, I am infinite potential. She stopped seeing herself as a person with an illness and started seeing herself as a field of infinite possibilities. Within months, her symptoms began to disappear. Her medical tests showed measurable improvements. Her doctors couldn't explain it, but we could, because she wasn't just getting better, she was changing at a fundamental level. She was shifting from a particle state of limitation to a wave state of pure potential. This statement works because it aligns with the true nature of reality. In the quantum field, everything exists as waves of possibility until they are observed. When you declare, I am infinite potential, you are choosing not to collapse these waves into limitations. You are maintaining your state as pure possibility. This is why people who embody this truth often experience what seem like miracles, spontaneous healings, unexpected windfalls, breakthroughs they never thought possible. They are no longer living from the past. They are living from a new possibility, one that already exists in the quantum field. Now, let's talk about how to apply these statements in your daily life. Think of them as tuning forks for your consciousness. Each time you declare them, you are adjusting your frequency to match the highest version of yourself. The key is to speak these statements consistently. First thing in the morning, before your analytical mind kicks in, is the most powerful time to say them. This is when your brain is still in theta state, highly receptive to new programming. But don't stop there. Use them before important meetings. Use them when doubt creeps in. Use them when facing challenges. Write them on your mirror. Set them as reminders on your phone. Speak them aloud during your daily walk. Each statement should be accompanied by the corresponding emotion of empowerment, possibility, acceptance, and unlimited potential. You are more powerful than you've ever been told. Now, It's time to step into that power, to embody these truths, and to create the life you were meant to live. If this resonated with you, don't just listen, take action. Speak these words daily, feel them, and let them shape your reality. And if you haven't already, hit subscribe, not just for more content, but as a declaration to the universe that you are ready for change. Your journey is just beginning. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.